Hi friends, this is Bilal Heather and this is the 13th part of the video series, and in this video part we are going to learn about arrays. Okay, so when we when we when we make games, sometimes we have um, a data or some values which are identical, like we have some numbers like up to 100 numbers, and we want to store them in 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 some variables. So like, let's say if we have, like, let's say 20 values, and we want to store those values in variables. So how you will be going to do that? Okay, if you're not familiar with arrays already, you will say that, okay Bilal, we will create 20 variables for that, and we will store those values in those 20 variables. That's not the very that's not the right way to store same type of data in different variables. Okay, that's why we use arrays. So arrays are basically used to store multiple objects, multiple data in a same variable, in a single variable. And we are just going to do that. First, we'll take an example of simple data type like integer and float, and later we'll talk more about storing objects in arrays. So let's create a public integer type array values. Okay, so that's how you create an array. And now this variable is no longer a simple variable. It has become an array, and now we can store hundreds, maybe thousands of numbers inside this single variable, and that's what we are going to do inside our start function. First of all, let's go ahead and give it um, give it a size. Okay, that's how we create a new array like that. Values, we use the same variable, equals new int 10. This will create an array in which we can store 10 values. How we'll store values in it? We'll just create values at its first position. We'll store 10. At its second position, we'll store 20. At its ninth position, we'll store 100, just like that. Okay, so this way we created an array of type integer, and we can store multiple values in a single variable. And this also helps us looping through these values. Okay, let's say we have like 100 values like this, and we want to find the biggest number from those values. Okay, so we have a single variable here. We can easily use a loop here to find the biggest value um, in that array. Okay, so, and similarly we can create arrays of float values, and let's give it precise, let's call it precise values, and precise values equals new float 20. Let's say we want to store 20 values in it, and now precise values equals 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, maybe like this. I guess this syntax doesn't work here, but we can use this method, and we can store our values just like that. Okay, so we talked about integer type arrays, and we talked about float type arrays, and similarly we can create boolean type arrays. We can also create an array for storing colors. We can also create an array to hold double type values, and so on. Now let's talk about creating an array to hold objects. Okay, let's create a simple class down here. Let's call it public class plane. Let's int okay, I have created a very simple class in here, and this class is a plane, an arrow plane you can say, and the plane will have a name and a height. I'm keeping it very simple. Just I'm creating this just to show you that we can create an array that can contain objects in it also. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that array. Let's create it public plane my plane and now we can use this array to my plane equals new plane 20. Okay, so by writing this class and creating an array out of it, and now we can store 20 different planes in a single variable called my plane. Okay, so how we'll be doing this? We'll store it at 0th number. We will store like new plane. Okay, just like that. We are creating new plane for each of our well, by the way, actually our planes are already created. We just need to go ahead and change. Let's make these public just like that, and now we can tell our very first plane to start flying, just like that. Okay, so let's recap it once more. We have written a class to create a plane for us. That plane will have a name and some height, and it will have two methods: one, start flying, and the second, start landing. Okay, and after creating this class for us, we have created an array of objects, and here we declared that we will be creating an array of objects of type this plane class. Okay, and after declaring that array, we are now using it inside our start function. Here we are telling our script that my plane variable will contain 20 plane objects. Okay, now by writing this line, we have created 20 planes for us, and here we are starting our first plane. Okay, we are flying our first plane, just like this. We can also start our second plane. We can start flying our second plane, and so. So this is very simple script which explains that arrays can be used for numeric data, for strings data, and for also objects. You can create arrays out of any data type. Okay, I guess this is all for this video part. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. And let's see how many classes you make and how many objects you create, and how many arrays you create. Okay, so practice it a little, and we'll move forward in our next video part. So thank you for watching my video. See you in the next part.